Hi, I'm Shani Das, Assistant Professor at Women's Studies Center, Avinash-Lingam University for Women. Today I have brought a new module which is a very interesting as well as important module for you. It's called Prevention of Sexual Harassment for the paper Women and Gender Development. Now, we know what sexual harassment is, maybe a little, maybe not much. What I am going to say is a lot about sexual harassment and how it takes place, what it is, and how you can prevent yourself. So let's look into the module from theoretical as well as a practical point of view. Let's start. What actually is sexual harassment? Where it come from? We know that women face challenges in their life every day, from private place to public place, from home to workplace, from bedroom to boardroom. Women's movement outside home is increasing in modern era. At the same time, women are being harassed in schools, colleges, marketplaces, workplaces, transports, banks, hospitals, where not, due to patriarchal domination, creating fear and insecurity among women in Indian society. Sexual harassment hinders well-being, growth and empowerment of women. Even though the legislations have been established for preventing, prohibiting and redressing the sexual harassment for women, yet women are being harassed everywhere. According to the National Crimes Record Bureau of India 2012 report, 25,000 rape cases were reported across India, out of which 24,470 rape cases were committed by a relative or a neighbor. That means sexual harassment takes place at private domain as well as in the public domain. In the public domain, approximately 1 of every 2 women are harassed at some point at their working lives by their superiors, employees or third parties with integration of women in the workplace. That reinforces the patriarchal subordination of women to men and violates women's dignity. Women in India experience objectionable workplace conditions, often resulting from the traditional power differential between men and women. Sexual harassment in India is thus a serious issue which has always been not reported due to social stigmas around the victims. As most of the cases go unreported due to social ridicule and shame attached to women victims, as a result, the sexual harassment of women is out of control in India. Women throughout India need assistance to protect against and prevent sexual harassment. Therefore, Indian girls and women should have awareness of sexual harassment taking place around them. This e-content module aims to make them realize their potential capabilities to handle sexual harassment in their lifetime. Let us look at the learning outcome and objective of the module. 1. Critical assessment of sexual harassment of women in private and public places. 2. Understanding the changing roles of workplaces in prevention of sexual harassment. And 3. Identify community-based actions to stop sexual harassment in Indian society. How do we define sexual harassment? Sexual harassment has been globally recognized as the most violating form of gender-based violence. The history of the struggle against sexual harassment, traced since the early 80s, illustrates that sexual harassment at the workplace remained one of the central concerns of the women's movement in India. Sexual harassment is connected with disadvantageous status of women at work and their lower position in society. Mostly, it is used as a weapon to punish women who was deviated from traditional gender role at home, in community, in society, and in institutional setup. The international definition of sexual harassment is as unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature constitute sexual harassment. When submission to such conduct is made either explicitly or implicitly a term or condition of an individual's employment. Submission to or rejection of such conduct by an individual is used as a basis for employment decisions affecting such individual, or such conduct has the purpose or effect of unreasonably interfering with an individual's work performance or creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive working environment. In India, sexual harassment is defined as eve-teasing and described as unwelcome sexual gesture or behavior, whether directly or indirectly, as sexually colored remarks, physical contact and advances, showing pornography, a demand or request for sexual favors, any other unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct of being sexual in nature and or passing sexually offensive and unacceptable remarks. The act of harassment can occur in the workplace, and also if a woman is harassed while visiting a place arising out of or during the course of employment, including transportation provided by the office, a complaint can be filed under the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act of 2013. Therefore, every employer has a duty to provide a safe working environment to all employees by regular workshops on awareness programs, as well as to display the consequences of harassment in the workplace. The United Nations and Equal Employment Opportunity Commission have defined sexual harassment as differently as 1. Unwelcome sexual advances, like requests for sexual favors and other verbal or physical conduct of sexual nature, when submission to such conduct is made either explicitly or implicitly a term or condition of an individual's employment, or submission to or rejection of such conduct by an individual is used as a basis for employment decision affecting such individual, or such conduct has the purpose or effect of unreasonably interfering with an individual's work performance or creating an intimidating, hostile or offensive working environment. 2. Unwelcome behavior. Unwelcome does not mean involuntary. A victim may consent or agree to certain conduct and actively participate in it, even though it is offensive and objectionable. Therefore, sexual conduct is unwelcome whenever the person subjected to it considers it unwelcome. Whether the person is in fact welcomed a request for a date, sex-oriented comment or joke depends on all the circumstances. 3. Sexual harassment includes many things, not only one thing. These are actual or attempted rape or sexual assault, which is the highest level, unwanted pressure for sexual favors, unwanted deliberate touching, leaning over, cornering or pinching, unwanted sexual looks or gestures, unwanted letters, telephone calls or materials of sexual nature, unwanted pressure for dates, unwanted sexual teasing, jokes, remarks or questions, referring to an adult as a girl, hunk, doll, babe or honey, whistling at someone, catcalls, sexual comments, turning work discussion to sexual topics, sexual innuendos or stories, asking about sexual fantasies, preferences or history, personal questions about social or sexual life, sexual comments about a person's clothing, anatomy or looks, kissing sounds, howling and smacking lips, telling lies or spreading rumors about a person's personal sex life, neck massage, touching an employee's clothing, hair or body, giving personal gifts, hanging around a person, hugging, kissing, patting or stroking, touching or rubbing oneself sexually around another person, standing close or brushing up against a person, looking a person up and down like elevating your eyes, staring at someone, sexually suggestive signals, facial expressions, winking, throwing kisses or licking lips, making sexual gestures with hands or through body movement. 4th is verbal, referring to an adult as a girl, hunk, doll, babe or honey, whistling at someone, catcalls, making sexual comments about a person's body, making sexual comments or innuendos, turning work discussion to sexual topics, telling sexual jokes or stories, asking about sexual fantasies, preferences or history, asking personal questions about social or sexual life, making kisses sound, howling and smacking lips, making sexual comments about a person's clothing, anatomy or looks, repeatedly asking out a person who is not interested, telling lies or spreading rumors about a person's personal sex life. Nonverbal: looking a person up and down, elevating eyes, staring at someone, blocking a person's path, following the person, giving personal gifts, displaying sexually suggestive visuals, making sexual gestures with hands or through body movements, making facial expressions such as winking, throwing kisses or licking lips. Physical: giving a massage around the neck or shoulder, touching the person's clothing, hair or body, hugging, kissing, patting or stroking, touching or rubbing oneself sexually around another, standing close or brushing up against another person. So these are the different sexual connotations and activities we often face in our lifetime, and sometimes we don't know whether they are sexually connoted or not. But with the understanding of different types of sexual harassment can happen to a girl or a woman, we would know what it should be reported or not. Now, what are these impacts of sexual harassment? Impacts of sexual harassment are critical to women employees, and it can devastate the psychological health, physical well-being, vocational development of the victims. These impacts are psychological reactions like depression, anxiety, shock, denial, anger, frustration, fear, inability, feeling of being powerless, confusion, shame, low esteem, isolation, self-blame, guilty feeling. It can be physiological reactions like sexual problems, panic reactions, phobias, sleep disturbances, nightmares, weight fluctuations, dermatological reactions, lethargy, headaches, gastrointestinal distress, and there can be career related effects like withdrawal from work or academic institutions, change in career goals, absenteeism, drop in academic or work performance due to stress, loss of job or promotion, unfavorable performance evaluations, decreased job satisfaction. Therefore, a healthy social environment where women do not feel any inhibition or fear of sexual harassment at the workplace would enable them to work to their full potential, contributing substantially to the society. Such attitudinal changes are urgently indicated since more and more women are entering the workplace in a rapidly changing global scenario. Sexual Harassment Act. Sexual harassment has been recognized internationally as the most threatening and most intimidating form of violence against women. In India, movement against sexual harassment shaped up during the 1990s when a Rajasthan state government employee, Bhanwari Devi, who tried to prevent child marriage as part of her duties as a social worker of the Women Development Program, was gang raped by the feudal landlords of the Bhattiri community. Despite a long legal battle that ensued, Bhanwari Devi did not get justice and led to women's rights group Vishakha filing public interest litigation in the Supreme Court. It was when Vishakha vs. State of Rajasthan 1997 became the pioneering case in India where the apex court recognized sexual harassment at the workplace as a human right violation. The Supreme Court judgment of the case laid down Vishakha guidelines against sexual harassment in the workplace in order to effectively enforce basic human right, that is gender equality, through prevention, protection and punishment against sexual harassment. The movement against sexual harassment reached its peak and pressure from every corner on Indian society at the wake of Nirbhaya case, 2012 Delhi gang rape of a 23-year-old paramedical student on a moving bus and brutally killing her. In 2013, India witnessed the introduction of significant judicial legislations and regulations pertaining to sexual harassment. It provided for the amendment of the Indian Penal Code, Indian Evidence Act and Code of Criminal Procedure of 1973 on laws related to sexual offences at public places. The Section 2A of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013 stipulates that no woman shall be subjected to sexual harassment at any workplace. This brings educational institutions, public, private and autonomous, under the purview of the Act. In fact, the scope of Sexual Harassment Act is very wide and is applicable to organized and unorganized private and public sector, including government bodies, organizations carrying on commercial, vocational, educational, entertainment, industrial, financial activities, hospitals, nursing homes, educational institutions, sports institutions, stadiums used for training individuals and dwelling places and homes. As per the Act, aggrieved women in relation to a workplace is a woman of any age, whether employed or not, who alleges to have been subjected to any act of harassment, complaints, redressal and punishment. The Sexual Harassment Act defines sexual harassment at the workplace and creates a mechanism for redressal of complaints. It also provides safeguards against false or malicious charges. The Act also covers concepts of quid pro quo harassment and hostile work environment as forms of sexual harassment if it occurs in connection with an act or behavior of sexual harassment. The definition of aggrieved women who will get protection under the Act is extremely wide to cover all women irrespective of her age or employment status, whether the organized or unorganized sectors, public or private, and covers clients, customers, domestic workers as well. While the workplace in the Vishaka guidelines is confined to the traditional office setup where there is a clear employer and employee relationship, the Sexual Harassment for Women at Workplace Act of 2013 goes much further to include any department, organization, undertaking, establishment, enterprise, institution, office, branch or unit, local authority, government company, corporation, cooperative society, private sector organization, private venture, undertaking, enterprise, institution, establishment, society, trust, non-governmental organization, unit or service provider carrying on commercial, professional, vocational, educational, entertainment, industry, health, services or financial activities including production, supply, sale, distribution or service providers like hospitals, nursing homes, educational institutes, sports institutes, stadium, sports complex, competition or games venue, whether residential or not used for training, sports or other activities, any place visited by the employee during the course of employment, including the transportation, a dwelling or place or a house, unorganized sector or enterprise owned by individuals or self-employed workers, and engage in the production or sale of goods or providing service of any kind whatsoever, and where the enterprise employs workers is less than 10. Even non-traditional workplaces which involve information and communication technology get covered under this Act, and especially in the era of social media. The Complaints Committee is required to complete the inquiry within a time period of 90 days. On the completion of the inquiry, the report is to be sent to the employer or the district officer as the case may be, and they are mandated to take action on the report within 60 days. The employer is required to constitute an internal complaints committee at each office or branch with 10 or more employees. The district office is required to constitute a local complaints committee at each district and if required at the block level. The complaints committee have the powers of civil courts for gathering evidence. The complaints committee are required to provide for conciliation before initiating an inquiry if requested by the complainant. The inquiry process under the Act should be confidential, and the Act lays down a penalty of Rs 5,000 on the person who has breached confidentiality. The Act requires employers to conduct education and sensitization programs and develop policies against sexual harassment, among other obligations. Penalties have been prescribed for employers' non-compliance with the provisions of the Act shall be punishable with a fine of up to 50,000 rupees. Repeated violations may lead to higher penalties and cancellation of license or registration to conduct business. Government can order an officer to inspect workplace and records related to sexual harassment in any organization or institution. Sexual harassment policy. Sexual harassment policy should be applicable to all the management, employees, vendors, clients, customers, and anyone else in direct or indirect relation with the organization or institution. The policy for any organization or institution has to be framed keeping the following objectives in view: to fulfill the directives of the Honorable Supreme Court enjoining all employers to develop and implement a policy against sexual harassment at the workplaces, create a working environment which is free from sexual harassment and where all the students and members of the staff are treated with dignity, courtesy and respect, to evolve a stable mechanism for the prevention and redressal of sexual harassment cases and other acts of gender-based violence at the institution, implement training and awareness raising strategies to ensure that all the students and employees know their rights and responsibilities, to ensure the implementation of the policy in letter and force through proper reporting of the complaints and their follow-up procedures, promote appropriate standards of conduct at all times, treat all complaints in a sensitive, fair, timely and confidential manner, provide an effective procedure for complaints based on the principles of procedural fairness, encourage the reporting of behavior which violates the sexual harassment policy, general warning to all employees about the sexual harassment policy, consequences they can expect if the policy is breached, disciplinary actions will be taken if they object the sexual harassment policy. So we understand a lot about sexual harassment, its different types, how it occurs, and when you are faced to it, what you should do. So in a conclusion, we can say that Indian society is in a stage of rapid social transition. Women are entering the workforce even in occupations which were previously regarded as exclusively men's domain. The perceptions and views of men and workplace sexual harassment and gender-based discrimination or violence significantly differ from those of women across a large number of issues. Sexual harassment could happen to anyone, but women are targeted victims. At an organization level, this may result in decreased work effectiveness, decreased work productivity, high absenteeism, high turnover and low staff morale. Hence, there is a need that organizations, institutions and governments should look seriously into this matter to eradicate sexual harassment from public and private places. Proper education and training programs should be developed to deal with these issues. The goal must be both to provide complete awareness of what constitutes sexual harassment and deal with sexual harassment incidents effectively to prevent its occurrence in future. So here you have your responsibility to be sexual harassment sensitive, and you have to report the case immediately if it happens to you or anyone related to you or known to you. In a summary, I just again redefine the sexual harassment for you to remember. Sexual harassment includes any one or more of the following unwelcome acts or behavior, whether directly or by implications. These are physical contact and advances, or a demand or request for sexual favors, or making sexually colored remarks, or showing pornography, or any other unwelcome physical, verbal, non-verbal conduct of sexual nature, and complaint and redressal should be made through internal or local complaints committee. It's your responsibility to act against sexual harassment and stop such a violent form of violence. And you should not only get sensitized against it, you should also allow others, give them awareness and help them to be sensitized against sexual harassment. Stop sexual harassment.